Imagine two viruses. One spreads silently across the planet, shutting down airports, economies, schools, and everyday life. The other spreads more slowly, but kills with terrifying brutality. One infected billions, the other terrified humanity because of its horrifying fatality rate. This is the story of coronavirus versus Ebola. Two outbreaks, two completely different threats, and two terrifying lessons about how fragile humanity really is. When most people think about dangerous viruses, they usually think about one thing: how deadly it is. But in reality, the most dangerous virus is not always the deadliest one. Sometimes, the most dangerous virus is the one that spreads fastest. And that's exactly what makes Ebola and coronavirus so different. Ebola virus disease is caused by a filovirus first discovered in 1976 near the Ebola River in Central Africa. Ebola spreads primarily through direct contact with infected bodily fluids: blood, saliva, vomit, sweat, other contaminated fluids. This means Ebola usually requires close physical contact to spread. But Ebola is terrifying because of its severity. Symptoms can include high fever, severe headache, muscle pain, vomiting, diarrhea, and sometimes severe bleeding. Depending on the outbreak strain, Ebola's fatality rate has ranged from around 25% to as high as 90%. Coronaviruses are a completely different family of viruses. The most globally famous example became SARS-CoV-2, the virus responsible for COVID-19. Unlike Ebola, coronavirus spreads primarily through respiratory droplets and aerosols, meaning infected people can spread the virus simply by breathing, talking, coughing, sneezing. This airborne transmission made coronavirus dramatically more contagious worldwide. Here's what shocked the world. Ebola was far deadlier, but coronavirus became far more disruptive globally. Why? Because viruses do not become global threats based only on lethality. They become dangerous based on how efficiently they spread. COVID-19 spread rapidly because many infected people showed mild symptoms or no symptoms at all, meaning millions unknowingly transmitted the virus before realizing they were infected. Despite its terrifying fatality rate, Ebola outbreaks historically remained more geographically contained, because Ebola spreads through close physical contact rather than airborne transmission. This allows health authorities to isolate outbreaks more effectively using protective equipment, patient isolation, contact tracing, safe burial practices. Coronavirus changed the modern world. Lockdowns, travel bans, remote work, economic disruption, healthcare system overload. Entire societies transformed almost overnight. Meanwhile, Ebola created a different type of fear, not because it infected billions, but because of how horrifying the disease appeared. Both viruses exposed something terrifying. Humanity remains vulnerable, despite modern medicine, despite technology, despite global science. A microscopic organism can still reshape civilization itself. Scientists continue developing vaccines and surveillance. The next outbreak is not a question of if, it's a question of when. Civilization may appear powerful, but nature can still humble the entire planet. Now you know.